guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. I have been wanting to do this video for a while, but I feel like because my book collection is just constantly growing, I wanted to wait. And so I haven't bought books in a while, and I also haven't counted how many I had since like 2 years ago, and it turns out that I have 207 books to my name, and I don't know when that happened, but it happened. To keep my bookshelf history like short and sweet, 2 years ago I had like one tiny shelf just for a couple of books and mostly journals, and then during COVID I realized that I wanted to start my own book Instagram, and I wanted to do reviews, and I wanted to own them because my library was closed, so I had no way of getting new books. So I found out that I could buy them secondhand for really cheap at a big quantity, so I started doing that and my collection started growing. My dad ended up building me these first set of shelves because I needed more space, and these lasted a good while. Then I ran out of space, so I got these floating ones from Amazon that I think are really cute, that I'll link down below if you want some for yourself because they're really cute, but once again, no space. So what I ended up doing was just stacking them up the wall for, like, above these, because I had nowhere to put all these books that I was getting, and so I asked my dad, could I have like a big shelf that might last me a little bit longer, because this is my hobby and this is my collection and I want it to keep growing. And he was like, sure. So now I have this set of shelves, which is my newest set of shelves, my biggest set of shelves from ceiling to floor, and I have not filled it up because it is a lot of space, and I love it, and I'm excited to show you all of these. To preface this, a lot of my books are used. A lot of them are secondhand because I rarely buy them new. I have only been buying them new maybe recently because it honestly is an investment. It's a big amount of money. So most of them are used, and I get a lot of books as gifts sometimes because I'm known to be a reader, and I love that so much. And this collection has been a while in the making, so it didn't just start out this way. But enough of me rambling, let's get into it. Let's see the books that I own. I figured that we would start with these behind my bed, or I mean above my bed, and everything on this wall I have read, so I tried to keep those separate from the ones that I haven't. But starting off with this top shelf, the one that is probably the one that I grabbed from the least, we have The Hunger Games. I'm number 4, which is the first in a pretty long series. 4 by Veronica Roth from the Divergent collection. Chaos Walking, The Knife of Never Letting Go, which I only bought this copy because it has Tom Holland on it, which, I mean, I love this book too, but this is the movie cover, and can we just look at that? Like, come on, it's beautiful. Okay, then Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, which I found at a Goodwill actually, and I was so excited about it. It was good. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is underneath all of these because while I enjoyed it, I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up again. Anyways, moving on. Going over to these on this side of the wall. These are mostly organized by color, and we have Ready Player One, which is actually so tiny, and I didn't realize it. It's also the movie cover. It's very small and very used, but I didn't know that when I bought it. Matched, Ignite Me from the Shatter Me series. Gone, which I loved actually, that's why it looks so worn. The Kiss of Deception, which I also loved, and Renegades by Marissa Meyer, which is a very big copy of it. I don't know how that happened, but coming down here we have my Chloe Gong and Victoria Aveyard mini shelf. Chloe Gong deserves her own shelf, I have to say it. Foul Lady Fortune is literally gorgeous. I don't know, her covers just get me, and I love having them on display. I used to have these Violent Delights on display. Then we have Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard, These Violent Delights, and Our Violent Ends. Isn't that just so pretty? I think it's so pretty. Okay, moving to this shelf. This is probably my favorite shelf. It's like my little Cruel Prince merch shelf, I guess, because in the back we have How the King of Elflame Learned to Hate Stories, which is the Owl Crate edition, which is the most I've spent on a book, and then this little wooden bookmark I got from the pre-order campaign for this book. I think it's so cute. The candle was a gift, and it's supposed to smell like Elflame. Then we have the original trilogy, The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing, and then The Stolen Heir, which is the most recent installment. I think that these just look so pretty together. I love. Okay, now moving on to these 4 shelves. Let's get started with this one. We have Arch Enemies, which is a part of the Renegades trilogy. Finale, which is actually a reversible dust jacket version that I found at Half Price Books for pretty cheap, which is exciting. Red Queen, Glass Sword, King's Cage. I don't have Warstorm, although I can't wait to own it, although it is really thick. Anyways, love that trilogy, or series, I mean. Off the Page, which is a book that I loved when I was younger. A Thicker in the Dark, which was the last book that I got from Book of the Month. Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget Kemmerer. Steel Striker by Marie Lu, part of the Sky Hunter duology. Catching Fire, second book to the Hunger Games. Cress from the Lunar Chronicles. The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson from the Truly Devious series. Once and for All by Sarah Dessen. I love this cover so much. It's my first Sarah Dessen book, and I continue to love her books. The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which is one of my all-time favorites. I loved reading this book. It was such a crazy experience. Wonder, which is a classic from my younger self. And The Betrothed by Kiera Cass, which honestly disappointed me so much, but I own it because it's Kiera Cass. And moving on to these, we have An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. We have Reaper at the Gates, which was actually a gift. Oh Lord, don't fall, please. Don't fall, please. Okay. I annotated it. Isn't that pretty? I actually really like that book. I really like this series. I just need to read the last one. Lovely War by Julie Berry, which I also annotated, although I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. Pride and Prejudice, the edition from Barnes & Noble. Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, Along for the Ride. Love the book. Not so much the movie, honestly. The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, which is the first Mariana Zapata book I bought, and it is a brick. It is so thick and heavy. Goodness gracious. The Unhoneymooners, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Just Listen by Sarah Dessen. Say Anything by Sarah Dessen. Part of the Maze Runner series, because I honestly don't know where the Fever Code went. I know I own it, but I have no idea where it went. It took me a while to find the Kill Order, actually, too. Because I had these 3. I don't know why they're backwards. I just noticed that they're backwards. This was probably one of the first set of books that I bought on my own, and was the first, like, on my first shelf. Amazing. And of course the Divergent trilogy. They're so worn because I read them so long ago, but they're amazing. Moving down to the bottom shelf, we have these, which they're kind of not by height, but it's only because I didn't measure between these correctly, so I had to put little books under the wooden parts, or else it wouldn't have fit. The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I love recommending that book. The original cover of the Atlas 6, which I bought on Amazon before I got the new cover. It took me so long to read this book, but in the long run, I liked it. The Autumn's Tithe, which I had a good time with. Supernova by Marissa Meyer, which is another tiny version of a book, and I'm not sure why it's tiny. Because the other ones are like, I have a paperback, a regular paperback that's regular sized, and then I have the hardcover, and then I have this tiny paperback, so I don't know what happened there. Marie Lu Wild Card, which is the second book to Warcross. I love that duology. Daughter of the Pirate King, Carva, These Hollow Vows, Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, which are so amazing. I had such a great time reading these books, and I love talking about them. The Six of Crows duology, Crooked Kingdom, Six of Crows. I read these like twice. Six of Crows is so worn, and I'm not sure why, because I didn't abuse it. I didn't overuse it, but it is pretty worn. And then we have Frostblood, The Gracier, By Your Side by Casey West, which was my favorite young adult romance for a long time. I think that it still is. It's really cute. Dear Aaron by Mariana Zapata, which is my favorite from her, my favorite romance book. It's really fun to read. Sky Hunter by Marie Lu, which I read on a cruise ship, actually. Loved it. Shatter Me, and a poetry book called Pillow Thoughts. The last book on this set of shelves. These are all mostly classics that I loved. Young adult for the most part. I think they're all young adult, but yeah. We start off with the Scythe trilogy. I loved these. This one is so used. This was one of my first popular bookstagram books that I read, and I had a fun time. Then we have Legend, the trilogy by Marie Lu. These are so amazing as well. I need to reread them. Then we have some of the Lunar Chronicles series. It was honestly so hard to find this copy of Scarlet. Oop, you can see the tag. Like with the original cover, because I bought the first one in the original cover and I wanted them all to be in the original style. But this one was a gift. And honestly, I love the new covers, and if I could have the whole series of the new covers, I would. But because I bought the first one in the original, I wanted them to match. So, but honestly, I don't even care. So then we have Fairest by Marissa Meyer, which I haven't read. Why is this here? I have not read you. Ruin and Rising, the last book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and the only one that I own. I think it's just because I really wanted to finish it. Then we have King of Scars, the second book. Oh, the first book in this duology, which I read. I thought that it was pretty good. Wrath and the Dawn, one of my favorites. And then my favorite trilogy, A Curse so Dark and Lonely, A Heart so Fierce and Broken, A Vow so Bold and Deadly. Jeez Louise. It took me so long to get all three of these, and I've read this one twice. I want to read these two in physical form so I can annotate them. Yes. And the first book in the Truly Devious series. And one of the only ones that I own. I only own that one. And The Box in the Woods. None of the other ones. Now we're getting to my very big set of shelves. This is the tallest shelf that I have, and it's kind of the ones that I've read that I'm not sure I'm going to pick up anytime soon, just because I have to use a step stool to reach all the way up here. Starting off, we have The Storm Crow, which was honestly amazing, but I haven't read the rest of them. Wires and Nerves, Wires and Nerve, from the Lunar Chronicles. It's a graphic novel. It was really good. Everything, which I loved when I was younger. Counting Down with You, a young adult romance. Ruined, The Raging Ones, which I haven't read yet, but I want to, because it's written by an author that I know writes romance, or authors, so this is interesting. It's a sci-fi. The Passage, which my dad actually bought, I just have it over here. A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Illuminate, which is amazing. The Digital Fortress. Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. The Host by Stephanie Meyer. Perfect Escape. The Fifth Wave, which is probably one of my most, oh lord, don't fall. One of my most used books, because I got it when the movie came out and I read it, and oh my gosh, I guess I read it a lot. I honestly really enjoyed that trilogy. At first, I loved it. Hot British Boyfriend, Isla Emerged, Randoms, another middle grade favorite, 2 books from the Artemis Fowl series, Dreamland by Sarah Dessen, and Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Then I have this Funko Pop of Captain America, because I was obsessed with Marvel and I am obsessed with Captain America, and this little rubber ducky that I found from our cruise trip, because they were hiding them around the ship, yeah. And it's so cute. Okay, moving on to this shelf, it's all hardcovers, and these are all on my TBR, except for this one, because I just read that one. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber was really good. Then Portrait of a Thief, which I got from the Barnes & Noble 50% off hardcovers sale. Blade Breaker, which is a sequel to Realm Breaker, which I still need to read, but it's so thick, it's almost intimidating. Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I really want to read some of her books. I haven't read one yet, but I really want to. The 1000th Floor, The Family Chow, which I got at one of my first book signings. I think it's so beautiful. So beautiful. I really need to read it soon. The Runaway Jury, which I don't know why it doesn't have a dust jacket. I really don't. My dad bought that one. So, Defy the Night by Bridget Cameron. I need to read this one because I love her books, and this is a whole new world, a whole new series. The Crown's Game, which I've heard of a little bit of. The Merciful Crow, which actually has painted edges. I found this at Half Price Books. I thought that was pretty cool. The Guinevere Deception, The Woman in the Window, which I think I got for $1. The last books in the Fifth Wave trilogy, The Infinite Sea and The Last Star. My friend gave these to me, and they're hardcover, so they don't match with the paperback, but that's okay. The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. Honestly, a lot of these hardcovers, including The Dreamers, were books that I had kind of seen and just impulsively bought online, because I was like, oh, I'll read this, yeah, but then I bought so many that I haven't read so many of them. Moving on. of Curses and Kisses, which I honestly was dying to read when it came out, and then I didn't get around to it, and I found it at Half Price Books, so I snatched it up. The Glass Spare, Yolk, which I'm excited for. Let's, don't fall, don't fall. Don't fall, please. Okay, look at this. Do you see that? That's so cool. I think that it's so beautiful. Please don't fall. The thing is with these shelves is that the risk of them falling is always there, and it's kind of scary. Okay, Spin the Dawn, which, oh my gosh, I need to show you this one. I found it at Half Price Books, and it has like an owl crate letter from the author inside, which I didn't even know when I bought it, actually. I just bought it because I had heard of it, and it has an owl crate letter inside of it. I think that that's so cute. I really need to read this book. Look at the cover. It's gorgeous. Okay, moving on, we have Majesty by Catherine McGee, which is the sequel to American Royals, which I've read, but I have not read the sequel to yet. All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir, which I'm super excited to get to, but haven't got to yet. We have The Emotion Thesaurus, which I need to show you physically, just because this was a gift, and it's all about writing expressions, and I am just like obsessed with this because it is amazing for writing. I think the concept is so cool, and it is just so fun to read and to get through. Great for if you're a writer. But yeah, we have Landscape Painting, which my friend gave to me because my favorite painter is actually Asher Durant. I love his style of painting. Then we have I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which is a light novel. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Bullet Train, which I just recently read, and I thought that it was so crazy. The Queen's Poisoner, You Deserve Each Other. Aurora Rising, which I really need to read because I have heard great things. The Rose and the Dagger, which is a sequel to The Wrath and the Dawn, which I love The Wrath and the Dawn, and then I got the sequel and I just haven't read it. We Hunt the Flame, again, another one that I've heard amazing things from, but haven't got to. Allies and Assassins, which I randomly found at Half Price Books. Never heard of it, but I thought that it sounded pretty cool. Graceling, another one I've heard so many things of. And I Darken, which was a gift. And then Reached, which is the last book in the Matched trilogy. I have Matched and I have Reached, but I don't have Crossed, which is the second book. And I honestly can't remember what happens in between them, so I can't read the last one because I don't remember. Incendiary, I think I'm saying it right. Okay, maybe I'm not saying it right, but this cover is so pretty, and I saw one of my mutuals read it, and I saw the cover, and I thought that it was gorgeous. So when I found it at half price, I bought it. I don't know why I keep the tag on most of these. I guess I do. If We Were Villains, which is another gift that I had on my wish list. 6 Crimson Cranes, which I've been dying to read. Dance of Thieves, which I just recently read. Hunger, which is the second book in the Gone series, which I really need to get to. The Princess Trials, which I thought was a gem that I found at Half Price Books, but I honestly didn't love it that much, but I still recently read it. Onyx and Ivory, The Circle, which I bought because I've seen the movie and I thought that was really interesting. Moby Dick, Frankenstein, which are probably like some of the only classics that I own. I started Frankenstein, but I have not gotten through it, honestly. A Winter's Promise, which I was supposed to buddy read with my friends, and so I have not picked it up because I still do want to do that. Okay, one more shelf down. I've read like 80% of these, maybe even 90%. Let's get through it. The Atlas Paradox, which I just recently read. I got this during the Barnes & Noble sale. I honestly liked it more than the first one. Then a collection of short stories that my friend gave me called My Wicked Ways. The Ask and the Answer, which I got for free, actually, at the book fair. The second book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. 9 Liars by Maureen Johnson, which is the most recent book in the Truly Devious series. Crying in H Mart, which I'm dying to read. And Air Comes to Rise, which I just recently read. All of Us Villains, which I'm also dying to read, because I think the concept is so cool. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Good Girl Bad Blood. I've read both of these. I have not read the last one. I really need to get to that one. But I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to come out in paperback, because these are paperback. 5 out of 5 stars. Please read these. 5 Total Strangers, which is a like one-day read thriller. It was pretty cool. Love and Other Words, which the cover, can we just admire the cover? It is so pretty. I can't get over it. Classic Selection Trilogy, which It was my favorite trilogy for the longest time, and it still is. Those are so close to my heart. I love them. All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata, The False Prince, It Only Happens in the Movies, and Anne of Avonlea. And I have Harry Styles, the CD, because when I got tickets, I got his CD. And then this little hobbit hole thing that I got for sale at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I think it was Hobby Lobby. Isn't it so cute though? It's so cute. Now, the last shelf on this set of shelves is my manga collection. We have Cells at Work, which is a gift, Romantic Killer, which is one of my favorite animes, and the manga is all in color, which I think is so cool. My Hero Academia, the school briefs, sorry. Splatoon, Volume 1, I was dying to get that book. Snow White with the Red Hair, Volume 1. Horimiya, Volume 1 and 9, which is another one of my favorite animes. Deep Scar, Volume 1, which was a random manga that my friend picked out from Barnes & Noble. My Hero Academia, Volumes 1, 4, 5, 7, 13, 27, 29. Honestly, it's my favorite cover. When I saw this cover like leaked online and some of the scenes from it, I wanted to cry because I used to be really obsessed with My Hero Academia, not so much anymore, although I still really love it, and I just could not get over that cover. Then Spy Family, Volumes 1 through 3, another amazing series. Cheeky Brat, which I read on my phone before it was even translated into English, and it was translated, and I think that they're really funny and really cute. And then Maid Sama, Volume 1 and 2 combined. I love Maid Sama. I love Maid Sama. It's amazing. My favorite candle from Bath & Body Works, called Focus, they don't make it anymore, and they make all of the other aromatherapy scents, and so I haven't burned it because I don't want to use it, but I love it so much, and I'm so sad that they don't make it anymore because I could not find it anywhere. This fake plant, and then a heart candle from Target because I thought that it was cute. So yeah, here's like mostly TBR, but some I've read. My biggest shelf, cute. And then lastly, we have these two shelves, which is mostly for like jewelry, perfume, but then also these pretty books that I think are mostly decorative, but I have read them. All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy, one of my favorites. It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer, which are the last two books in the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I think I read this one when I bought it. It was so good. Love and Gelato, Paper Hearts, which I randomly bought at Half Price Books, and Love and Olives. And then lastly, Love is Hard for Otaku, which is a manga, but I just think that it fits the vibe of over here, so I kept it over here. These are mostly like young adult contemporary romances, because I think that they're just so cute. So yeah, that's every book that I own currently, all 207 of them. This collection has been like 3 years in the making, but I just find it so fun because I love reading the books that I own and annotating them and going back to them, and having like my own little library is so fun. I love it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you somewhere else on the internet. Bye!